If you're in sales, did you know that you actually get paid for no's, for getting no's? Stick around and I'll explain. Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Graylan Stewart. Thanks for joining me. If you're new to my channel, I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. But my channel is all about wholesaling real estate. So I am an entrepreneur. My main business is real estate, so I'm an investor. But we wholesale as our main exit strategy. So that's what most of my videos are about. But today's video, I'm going to talk about no's, getting a no. So as you know, most things that we do in life are sales, and I've done a video on that. But so I always talk about to my team and just in general that you want to get as many no's as possible, because every no that you get, you're one step closer to a yes, okay? But this video in particular is about how you actually get paid for those no answers, okay? So it even brings my point home even more about how you should go for the no, because you're one step closer to a yes. But let me explain. So let's just say that wholesaling real estate is your career path, okay? So that's what we do, so that's what we'll talk about. So in my business, currently, I think our average wholesale fee is somewhere around $17,000. So last year in 2021, we were right at around $20,000 for our wholesaling part of our business, okay? So we do wholesales. We count them all different ways, okay? We do wholesaling, we do hoteling, we do retail flips, and we do novations, okay? That's kind of our four main exit strategies as far as selling the property. So we do buy and holds as well. So let me explain. Wholesaling is obviously getting the contract with a motivated seller, selling that contract for a higher price to an end buyer, okay? Hoteling is getting that contract with a motivated seller, closing on it in most cases, and then selling it as is on the retail market. Fixing and flipping, obviously, get a contract with a motivated seller or buy from another wholesaler, buy it at a discount either way, and then fix it up and flip it. And then novations is the same. You get a contract with a motivated seller. You're actually not going to fix it up, but you do put it on the MLS and still sell it. So that's our four main exit strategies. But all of those require talking to motivated sellers. That's the underlying theme here, if you haven't noticed. But every time we talk to sellers, obviously, most of the time we talk to people, the answer is no, right? That's just the way it works in any kind of sales. So yes, wholesaling and getting contracts with motivated sellers is sales, okay? We don't have anything to sell to them per se, but we're selling our experience, our authority in the space. We're selling our our ability to close on the property. So we're selling ourselves is what we're doing to these sellers. They're putting their confidence in us to fulfill their the problems that we said that we can do. We're in this to solve problems, and they're trusting us to do that. So we are selling ourselves. So don't make no mistake about it. What we do is sales, okay? Then obviously, when we're selling the property, no matter what exit strategy we're doing, obviously that's sales oriented as well. So let's get into what I'm talking about. So go for the no, obviously. Every no, this is a numbers game, as most sales games are, okay? The more no's that you get, the more likely you are to actually, get a deal, okay? Because every no leads you to a yes. So the reason I say we actually get paid for our no's, because let's think about it like this. So if our average wholesale fee is around $17,000, then you got to figure out, okay, well, to get that $17,000, what had to happen for me to get that fee, okay? So what had to happen was I had to have a contract, right? But not only that, I had to have a contract close, right? But then we got to think about how many contracts did I actually have under contract that went to closing. For example, not every deal that we get actually closes. So let's just say it took, out of 10 contracts, maybe 7 of those closed, okay? So 3 of those are trash. For whatever reason, they couldn't close. It's usually because of the bad title work or whatever else. The property just can't close, okay? But then out of those 10 contracts that we actually got under contract, how many offers do we have to actually make, or how many verbal commitments did we have to actually get those 10 contracts? Maybe that's 30. I don't know. Maybe it's 20. Whatever that number is, you got to figure that out for yourself. So let's just say it's 20 for easy numbers, okay? So you've got 20 verbal commitments or super interested hot leads that said yes, basically. But out of those 20, 10 of them actually signed a contract. Then out of those 10 contracts, 7 of them actually closed to get you that 17 grand. So let's take it a step even further back, right? So out of those 20, out of those 20 contracts, how many leads did you actually have to have, or out of those 20 hot leads that gave you verbals, how many actual leads did you have to get to those 20? That number is probably 100, maybe more. I'm not sure. In our business last year, it was about 1 out of every 21 leads, I think is what it was. Out of 1 out of every 21 leads turned into a deal, so a contract for us. So if we did the math on that, you've got, let's just say, if it's 1 out of 20, so 20 of those actual contracts or actual leads turn into a contract, and we did 10 of them, so that's 20 times 10, so 200 leads basically to get to those 10 contracts, okay? So if that's the case, out of those 200, we only got 10, so we actually had to get 190 no's, right? So now let's do the math a little further. I'm going to get my calculator out because I haven't pre-done this. I just started thinking of all this put together. So $17,000, right? And it took us basically 200 leads to get to those 10. But let's take it even further. Wait, so 17, if there's 200 makes it 10, divide that out. Oh, we already said 21, right? So every 21 is a deal. So let's just take that into account. 21. So basically, out of one contract, we had to get 20 no's. Now, keep in mind, your numbers are going to be higher probably because we don't consider leads, actual leads, until it comes into our funnel, if you want to call it that. Okay. Now, before it even comes into our funnel, it's pre-vetted, basically, right? Obviously, the ones that are coming in from radio and PPC and Facebook ads, like those are pre-vetted themselves. But our outbound efforts, like SMS and RVM and cold calling, things like that, that takes thousands of calls, thousands of no's for our cold callers and texters and things like that before those actually even get into our system. But we're just talking about what's in our actual system for me and my business, okay? So out of 21 leads, last year's numbers at least, I don't know this year's, I haven't looked that closely, but out of 21 leads, we get a contract. So that means we had to get 20 no's. But that contract is worth 17 grand, let's just say, $17,000. So actually, if you divide that by 21, we're actually getting paid $109 for every no that we get, if you want to look at it that way. That's not perfect math because, only 7 out of 10 of those contracts closed. So let's just say 1, so 0.7 is really the real number because if one contract, so 0.7 contracts actually close, out of that 21 leads. It's 21 divided by 0.7. I don't know how you would figure that. That's more like 30 instead of 21. So then you could divide that even more, 17,000 divided by 30. So you get my point, whatever the math is, but that's $566. So the point is, the whole message here that I'm trying to portray to you is go for the no, but not only go for the no, just also know for yourself that you're getting paid for those no's. So you might as well go for them. You don't have anything to lose because, however your numbers work out, everybody's numbers are different. No matter what your numbers are and however you figure them, you're getting paid for those no's every time, okay? Because those no's were essential for you to actually get to a yes, right? So, if you think about it, even at a cold calling standpoint, if you just have like raw leads before they're actual leads or opportunities at all, right? It might take 1,000 calls from a cold caller to get us 2 leads, right? And then out of those 2 leads, we might only actually get 1 interested person, so it might actually take 5 or 6 leads to get a contract from cold calling. These are just kind of guessing these numbers. But just say if that was the case, you're talking about 1,000 leads now, 17 grand. But even those leads themselves, not even actual opportunities, are money, right? We're actually getting paid for those. It may not feel like it or seem like it in the midst of it, because I know a lot of you out there are probably newer beginners, wholesaling, or maybe you haven't even started yet. So the whole message is to kind of encourage you and let you know that no is part of the sales game, and no's are necessary, and no's get you one step closer to a yes, and no's actually are paying you as long as you fulfill it and keep moving forward. Okay, so that's the whole message. Get as many no's as you can, because you're getting paid for them. So that should inspire you right there, to keep going and keep moving, because every no, you're getting paid. As long as you keep going until you get those yeses along the way, so you get those wins, you're always going to get paid for no's as long as you keep moving forward. Now, if you stop, let's just say it takes 1,000 calls to get one lead for you. What happens if you stop at 999? Then maybe you're not getting paid for your no's. So it's important to keep actually going forward until you get those yeses. Therefore, you are getting paid for your time. So if you want to look at it like that, and it might take you, I think my cold callers can do, 1,000 calls in a couple of days. They only work 20 hours a day, 15 to 20 hours a day, typically each. So 1,000, it doesn't take that many hours. If you divide that out, you're actually getting paid pretty good per hour, even for the money that you are not seeing right away, but you actually get paid for that eventually, right? So go for the no, you get paid for the no's. That's my message today. Hopefully that resonates with you and it inspires you, because I know it's hard when you're starting out, because you feel like you're cold calling. You're doing whatever you can to bring leads in, and you might feel discouraged. Don't let it discourage you, because you are getting paid for those efforts if you don't quit. Now, if you quit, that's another story. Then you probably wasted your time. But if you keep moving forward and you're actually going for the no, and you're doing the necessary steps it takes, then you're going to get paid for those no's. Cool? All right, guys, that's my message today. So hopefully you found value in that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Drop me some comments. Let me know your thoughts on that whole subject. And then like and subscribe and share if you would. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.